greatest sports debate show on the internet.
I just want to make this statement out front. I think the NBA playoffs so far have been a disaster.
Championship rings. Starring Brandon Williams.
NBA has its next villain team. They reside in Oklahoma City, and their name is the Thunder.
And Josh Ungar.
James Harden is, when you get to a Game 6 or Game 7, it's like he's allergic. I mean, we have countless examples. He's like a bad poker hand. He folds.
Begins now.
Well, Josh, when we last came on the air last Tuesday, our Cavs were preparing for Game 1 against the Detroit Pistons, and now we're already headed into a Game 5. A lot better pace than the first round, as we have so much to dive into tonight between the NBA playoffs, the ping pong balls, and the NBA draft lottery. The NFL schedule is out. March Madness is expanding. It is a week of news in the sports world.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Want to send our condolences, by the way, to the Cleveland Guardians, who lost their longtime PA announcer, Bob Tyak. I think that's how you say it.
Tyak.
Okay. Yeah, he called the Guardians games for many, many years, and he has unfortunately passed away.
And with that, speaking of Cleveland sports, let's get into our first topic of the night. So the Cavaliers were down 0-2 to the Detroit Pistons and did not play very well in Detroit, just like they did not play very well in Toronto. And then over the next two games, especially last night in the second half, Donovan Mitchell, for the first time this postseason, just said, "No, Detroit, you are not winning tonight." Scores 4 points in the first half, goes for almost a playoff record in the second half. The Cavs are now even this thing up at 2 games apiece. But the question becomes, can they win a single playoff game on the road?
Yeah, that's what's been odd about the Cavs playoff run so far, is that we are, 6-0 at home now?
6-0 at home, 0-5 on the road.
It really makes no sense. It's very rare that you see something like this. I don't know what changes between home and road, but for the most part, they've taken Jalen Duren out of this series. He really hasn't been a factor.
By the way, on that note, I'm going to share with you this stat. This includes the Magic series. Jalen Duren in the regular season averaged 19 points a game. In the postseason, he's averaging 10 points. That's a 9-point difference. That is the biggest drop-off from an all-star in the same season, from the regular season to the postseason, since the common draft era, which dates all the way back to the 70s.
I think I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I heard that he only had 1 rebound in the game last night.
It sounds like Evan Mobley in game 2.
They frustrated Cade Cunningham these last 2 games, but
he had 2 rebounds last night.
Okay. Like I said, I could be wrong on that. But either way, it might have been that he had 1 offensive rebound or something. Yep. But either way, they did frustrate Cade Cunningham, so I'll give them credit. But again, do I really trust the Cavs? Not really. Because like we've said, they're such a Jekyll and Hyde team. They play really well at home, but they can't carry that momentum on the road.
And the other thing they did last night and in game 3 that was different than game 1 and game 2 is they started off fast. They forced Detroit to go the first time out. But in both games, really, I mean, game 3, you're up 17 at halftime. Game 4, you've gone the 22-0 run in the third quarter. And yet you start the fourth quarter and you look up and it's still a ball game because the Cavs did not close that deal.
Yeah, but this is the NBA, and we've seen 20-point leads vanish in a flash. So was I really that surprised when Detroit made their comeback from down 16 to make it a ball game? No.
Well, counterpoint to that, the Pistons are not really a great three-point shooting team. And the Cavs' best quarter all postseason, including the Toronto series, has been the third quarter. Their worst quarter, without a doubt, has been the first quarter. They're always behind by 10, it feels like, at the end of every first quarter, and then they have to make it up in the second half.
Yeah, and we allowed Karis LeVert to go for like 17 last night.
Well, I would say he replaced Duncan Robinson's production. Is that fair? Because Duncan Robinson didn't do a ton last night.
No, he really didn't. But you know Detroit's not going to change their starting lineup. Duncan Robinson is still going to be in
Duncan
there.
Robinson, Tobias Harris are providing critical scoring bunches. But last night it came down to Cade Cunningham did not have his best game, and Donovan Mitchell, with the Cavs down by 4 at halftime, went into the third quarter and just said no, no, no. And he became the number one player that really he should be all along last night.
It's also that Cade doesn't have that true second playmaker. He has to set up Tobias Harris. He has to set up Jalen Duren. Okay. Tobias Harris, to a certain extent, can get his own shot, but it's still more so on Cade to set him up.
And I thought in the second half to unlock Donovan Mitchell, what Kenny Atkinson did and made an adjustment, which was smart, was they used Harden to be that primary point guard and set Mitchell up off the ball.
Yeah. And I'll give Dean Wade his credit. He's frustrating Cade.
Well, he's doing his job on defense. I do not want him touching the ball on offense.
Yeah.
And I got to give another guy credit, because I think this guy, with his momentum, I think he won game 3. Not even James Harden, not even Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to give my flowers right now to Max Strus.
See, I'm not a big Max Strus fan. I'm really not.
I think Max Strus won the Cavs game 3 with that steal off the inbound Wade. He ended up weighing it in. And every time you look up at home, he struggles on the road. But at home, every time you look up and Detroit's got some momentum and you need a play, who makes it? Max Strus.
Yeah, I'll give him his credit. But like I said, I'm not a big Max Strus fan. I feel like at times defensively, he's like a traffic cone. And
well, if you think he's a traffic cone, then what's James Harden?
Invisible.
I mean, well, this was my fear when we made the trade, and I've been going back and forth via text with our man Jalen Sandvik all week, because Jalen just thinks I'm blasphemous about this. Because I don't think the Cavs have played very well at all in a full game yet these playoffs. I don't think we've seen a full game where the Cavs have definitively been the best team to start to finish. Maybe game 1 against Toronto.
I would say slightly game 2 against Toronto would.
Yeah, because they were on most of the time. But, I'm talking like, because even game 7, they had the third quarter moment. Last night, they had the third quarter moment. But they didn't play well the whole game.
Right. I felt like our most complete game this postseason thus far. I see what you're saying about game 1. But I felt like game 2 against Toronto was our most complete game.
Well, what's the scary part? What happened in game 3? They got blown off the court. And if this series truly is going to be like the 07 series where the Cavs fell down 0-2 and then came back and won in 6, what is going to be our game 5 LeBron scoring 25 straight points moment? As I'm watching the game last night, I was thinking, is that moment by Donovan Mitchell, was that just the game 4 equivalent to what LeBron did in game 5 in 07? Because that's what it felt like to me.
Well, if this series is going to shape up like 07, then who's going to come out and be Daniel Gibson?
Strus has that potential. Sam Merrill, who is a hot and cold shooter, obviously has that potential, but it's going to come down to rebounding. It's going to come down to, can those bigs of Jared Allen and Evan Mobley control the paint?
Yep.
So, all right, well, from one team in the East to the other, because the New York Knicks, after the Philadelphia 76ers came back down 3-1 to the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks came out and outside of game 2, completely mollywopped the Sixers.
Yeah. Game 4 was probably over by the end of the first quarter. I think they went 11 of 12 on 3-pointers in that first quarter.
I would say game 4 was over about 6 minutes in.
What's honestly nuts, and it's not just with this series, it's also from the last time New York and Philadelphia played each other. Xfinity Mobile Arena sounds like Madison Square Garden. Like, I'm watching the game and I'm like, is this a 76ers home game or is it a Knicks home game?
So last year in the Eastern Conference, Josh, we saw the coming of age of Tyrese Haliburton. And certainly this year, the Pistons move on, and maybe if they beat the Knicks, we could see the coming of age of Cade Cunningham. But I really felt like this postseason has solidified Jalen Brunson's status as a superstar in this league.
Oh, for sure. And I honestly thought losing OG Anunoby would hurt the Knicks. Nope, the machine just keeps running. But I told you the Knicks' most important player. I'll give Jalen Brunson his credit for sure. But when they made that change and late in the Atlanta series and started funneling the offense more so through Cat, that's when the switch flipped for them. I told you, Cat was their most important player, not Jalen Brunson.
Well, I would argue Jalen Brunson is their most important player because if they don't have Jalen Brunson, they're not even in this position.
Okay, fair, but how do I say this then? Because you are right. Jalen Brunson has made the difference for them in terms of where they are, but in terms of them playing so well, Cat has been that.
That's fair, but who's the one that also told you going into the playoffs? Who is the team that's going to come out of the Eastern Conference? The New York Knickerbockers, because they were playing with their food in the regular season, because just like the Minnesota Timberwolves, who reportedly told Chris Finch, we don't give a damn about the regular season. That's how I felt like the Knicks felt. And they were just going to come out and they were going to play their best basketball in the postseason. And between Brunson, Cat, Mitchell Robinson, McBride, and Anunoby, Bridges, they have so many bodies that can throw at you. They are arguably the deepest team in the East.
Yeah, and Mikal Bridges has caught a lot of flack throughout the season.
He did not play well in the Atlanta series, but he did play better, especially defensively in the Philly series.
Yes. And the last two banners that are hanging in the Xfinity Mobile Arena, those came courtesy of Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and Mikal Bridges, Villanova.
Well, the question on everybody's mind, though, is, so the Sixers, they defeated the Celtics in 7 games and made that comeback. So what does this now say, Josh, about the direction the Celtics should go into?
See, this is the more interesting part of this sweep to me, is not that the Knicks destroyed the 76ers. It's what does this say about the Celtics? And God, I don't even know where to start with this. Like, because Jason Tatum wasn't healthy for most of that series, but...
Oh, what do you mean he was healthy for most of it? He only missed Game 7.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. I don't know why I just said that. That was complete mistake there. But anyway, for the Celtics to blow that 3-1 lead and ruin the series that basically we all wanted to see, Celtics Knicks Part 2, and then see the 76ers get absolutely manhandled in the manner they did, I don't even know what to say about the Celtics, honestly.
Josh, I think I know you're going to be mad by my answer, but if I'm Brad Stevens, I am thinking long and hard about breaking up the duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and the guy I'm not trading out of those two is Jaylen Brown.
Interesting. Let me ask you a question on that. Because the Milwaukee Bucks have said they are going to start seeking trades for Giannis. If you're the Boston Celtics, do you call the Milwaukee Bucks and ask about Giannis?
You absolutely do. Now, let me ask you this. If you're the Bucks, who would you rather want? Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown?
Oh, boy.
Because if I'm the Bucks, I know my answer.
And if you're the Celtics, would you rather pair Giannis with Jaylen Brown, or would you rather pair him with Jason Tatum?
Well, I'd rather pair him with Jaylen Brown, but I know Milwaukee's going to want Jaylen Brown, so if I have to give up him to get Giannis, I will.
And you would pair Giannis with Jason Tatum then?
No, I would rather pair Giannis with Jaylen Brown, but Milwaukee's going to want Jaylen Brown, so I'd have to give him up. Milwaukee is going to want one of two things. They're going to want the number one pick in the draft, which Washington is obviously not giving up, or they're going to want a top 5 pick or a top 10 player in the league that they can restart their franchise with. So either they're going to go with like in Atlanta at pick 8. Maybe, I don't know if Giannis would love about Chicago, that they don't really have a lot of other building assets. Maybe the Clippers, now that they have pick 5 from the Pacers, maybe you inquire about that. But you're going to either want one of those top 5 picks, or you're going to want a Jaylen Brown, or an Alfred Sengun, or a Stephon Castle, one of these established, young, great players.
Yeah, but what this series also says to me about the Celtics is maybe they missed their another opportunity, because I don't think the Eastern Conference was that difficult, other than maybe New York.
So this is the weird thing, right? Going into the year, we all said it was a gap year for the Celtics. Who cares? Jason Tatum's out, rest and recover. But you get to the end of the season and you look around, and hell, maybe number 23 comes back to Cleveland one other time. Who knows? Maybe Giannis Antetokounmpo ends up in Cleveland. Who knows? The Knicks are still going to be around. Indiana's going to be better. Detroit at one more year under their belt, I think is going to be better. I would say don't count out Orlando, depending on what they get, potential shooting, new coach. I think the East is going to be significantly better next year. So to your point, yes, I agree that, Boston, you didn't have Tatum, but I've said it before. They didn't even need Tatum, I thought, to win the East.
Yeah. And obviously they had to trade some of their key players from the championship team, like Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and others. But I still felt like they had enough. But,
And I think Jaylen Brown going on Twitch and making all this noise, listen, I think Jaylen Brown's been a good soldier. He was there. Remember, he was drafted the 3rd overall pick in 2017. Jason Tatum came in 2018. So he was there the year before Tatum. I think Jaylen Brown has always viewed himself as equal, if not better than Jason Tatum, but he's been a good teammate. He's been a good locker room player. And I agree with him that this was probably the most fun he's ever had this year in his career. And I know what you're going to say, Josh, is, he won the title 2 years ago. Yeah, but he wasn't the man. That was still viewed as Jason Tatum's team.
Even though he won Finals MVP,
yes,
I think he won Conference Finals MVP.
Correct. But what was the debate that we were having on this show? You kept telling me that you believe Jason Tatum was the better player.
Yes. No, I was trying to argue, let's not have that debate and just have them as equals.
But you can't. You can't have an equal on a basketball team. Name me one NBA team where the guy has been seen as equal. 2 stars have been seen as equal. Because even LeBron and Dwayne Wade in his prime, that was viewed as LeBron's team. Even though he came to Wade, Wade gave that team up to LeBron.
Yeah.
It's always somebody else's team.
What about
even
the Kobe?
The baby teams, even like the Toronto Raptors, right? I thought that was viewed more as DeMar DeRozan's team than Kyle Lowry's team, personally. Like even the Shaq Kobe Lakers, That's like I think you were about to say. That's really the closest we've gotten, but Shaq was still viewed at that time as the better player.
Probably. And the Spurs were clearly Tim Duncan's team.
Yes. So Boston was sort of a weird anomaly situation. And I think Jaylen Brown is saying, guys, I'm ready to carry this team.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a huge... Jaylen Brown.
Go ahead.
I didn't love that Jaylen Brown went on Twitch and said that. I understood it, but I didn't love it. It just didn't quite sit well with me.
Well, I think it's, hey, I've been here for 10 years. I won my championship. It's very similar to A.J. Brown, right? I won my championship. Now I want my money. I want to be the guy.
We'll see what the Celtics do. This offseason is going to be very telling for them.
Speaking of the offseason, Josh, this offseason, just like it was almost 8 years ago, could be another offseason where it's the offseason of the king. Whether you think about him as the GOAT or not, number 23, LeBron may have played his last game as a Laker. Hell, he might have played his last career game in the NBA last night, and we don't even know it.
He's made no indications that he's going to be retiring, but who knows?
Well, first of all, I don't think LeBron wants to go on a retirement tour because unlike Kobe, LeBron's body has not broken down on him. I think LeBron is going to wake up one day and say, that's it, I'm done. I don't think he's going to go, this is my last year. Because like Brady at the end, when you're so good at something, you don't know when to stop because you're so good at it. Your body will tell you.
Yeah. And the Thunder, they've done this to players before. I think Duncan's last game was against the Thunder.
Well, by the way, I'll tell you this. This series was so lopsided. I am dead serious when I say this. I don't even think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had to play a single minute in this series, and I think the Thunder could have swept him.
Well, then. But yeah.
That's how far behind I think the Lakers roster is to OKC. So, LeBron, if you want to come back and enjoy family life, sure, go back to the Lakers.
I don't think this is going to be the summer of LeBron, like how you just said it. I don't think he's the top prize, especially with all the Giannis stuff. That's the bigger story.
I think he'd be a top prize for two teams. Number one is obviously our Cavs. I mean, without a doubt. I don't care that Donovan Mitchell was here. I'm sorry, this would be LeBron's team again. Because LeBron would be viewed as the guy to get us over the top. Because nobody believes in their right mind, even if we make it out of the East, that we're winning the NBA championship this year.
No. If we do make it out of the East, if we face OKC, okay, maybe I'd give us a game.
We'd get swept unless OKC be courtesy enough to let us have one on our home floor so they can win it at home.
San Antonio.
We would get swept.
Yeah. Minnesota.
We would get swept.
I think Minnesota, it would be more like a 5-game series.
Okay. I mean, I'm not here to debate. Anyway. The other team, I think, would be the Knicks. Because even though that team is Jalen Brunson's team, and it'd be a nice story, LeBron coming to New York where he's always wanted to play, Mike Brown, his first major coach with the Cavs. It was the second overall coach because Bo Silas was here this first couple of years. Excuse me. I know Jalen Brunson's there, but again, that's another situation where LeBron would be viewed as the guy to put them over the top.
Yeah. And I think it's the Lakers are Luka's team now if he can stay healthy. But
that's the question because I thought it was Luka's team. Luka's not healthy anymore, Josh.
No, I think I saw he's not even going to be playing for the Slovenian or
correct. And they obviously have decisions to make with Austin Reeves and all that. Listen, if LeBron wants to come back, he knows he's not winning a championship.
Yeah. And by the way, even with his 2 tenures in Cleveland, he spent the most amount of time in LA. He's on year 8 or 9 with them.
This would be, I believe, year 8. It would be the most time under one team because he did 11 total years in Cleveland if you combine the two.
Yes. But I'm talking about in one stint.
Correct. Yes. Which does feel weird that LeBron's been in that way for so long because it does not feel like it's been that long.
No, it really doesn't. And like people still talk about whether that 2020 championship is legitimate or not.
But at the end of the day, he still did it. And
that's
the biggest accomplishment is Lakers feathered cap.
Oh,
and
yeah.
To me,
and I think, on that note, that's why Anthony Davis is in Washington now.
And what screwed LeBron over with the Lakers is twofold. Number one, AD never became the guy that LeBron thought he could be. When they won that championship, the next year, Anthony Davis was supposed to be the best player on the team. And Anthony Davis was never healthy and never reliable. And we've seen what his career has become. And now
I think Anthony Davis has even discredited that championship he won with the Lakers.
And Luka came over and like, oh my God, LeBron and Luka are going to play together. This is going to be great. And Luka's never available.
No, I don't think he's played a single game in this series against OKC.
He did not. He did not play a single playoff game.
Damn.
By the way, his last game he played this year was the game that they watched the Thunder and they were losing by 40 by the end of the first quarter.
Yep.
So, I mean, you tell me, I know LeBron's tenure in LA is going to be looked at as the least successful one. He only won one championship and, he was swept a couple times and all that. The Lakers, in my opinion, massively as a front office, failed LeBron.
You know what's crazy is you look at what the Cavs front office has done since Donovan Mitchell has been here. It feels like they've done more for him than what we did for LeBron while he was in Cleveland.
And you know what the missing piece is on our team? A big, giant, 6'9" wing who's a leader.
Yes. We have not had a true small forward in years.
And we still don't. And I like Jalen Tyson, but he's not that guy.
No. And I thought DeAndre Hunter was going to be that missing piece, and he didn't prove to be that. But, no. Talking about the Lakers, I think you're right. They really didn't help LeBron with anything. They went out and got DeAndre Ayton because that's the type of big man that Luka likes to play with. But guess what? Luka's never healthy.
I'll throw one more team out there that I think is a possibility for LeBron. And this team wouldn't be in line to win a championship, but it would be more of a fun all-star team up. Golden State.
Steph, LeBron. I would want to see how that dynamic would work between Steph or Draymond Green and LeBron.
I think they would get along great together on the court. I'll be honest with you, because Draymond could be the enforcer.
That would be, I think that would be entertaining. But if LeBron goes to New York, like you're suggesting, if he doesn't go on a retirement tour, the NBA would benefit greatly from that and make a ton of money off of that. Think about it. He's in a Knicks jersey playing in the world's most famous arena. It's his retirement tour. Yeah.
All right, so we got to get to T-Wolf Spurs here. Game 5 is tonight. And Game 4, Josh, I'm rooting for the Spurs for one reason. Because I want to see them knock off the Thunder, and I don't think Minnesota can. And Game 4 ripped my heart out because I firmly believe the Spurs were going to win that game.
Yeah. Of course, the big talking point coming out of that game was Wemby delivering that elbow.
The NBA is extremely soft, by the way. Listen, was it a flagrant 1?
Yes.
Probably.
Was it a flagrant 2? Absolutely not.
Thank you.
No way. Nas Reed embellished that. Like, what do you want him to do?
Well, I take it as they're fighting for the ball, and Wemby just goes like this, get off me, you know, and delivers the elbow. I didn't see any malice or intention behind that.
I mean, yes, it was above the neck, but
oh, boo-hoo. In the 90s, that was an offensive foul, and let's go. There was no review. Like, come on, man.
I hated it. I am so glad that the NBA didn't suspend him. There was no fine. That was a
Wemby, you need to come out tonight and put up a 40 burger or hell, even a 50 burger. Make a statement tonight.
What I do want, I'm not saying the Timberwolves need to retaliate and like punch Wemby in the face or anything like that. But I want them to bring a level of aggressiveness, physicality, be angry that Wemby didn't face any type of punishment or discipline for that hit. Whether it should have been a flagrant 2 or not, doesn't matter. I want the Timberwolves to come out tonight and be angry. Like, chip at Wemby a little bit. Again, not like cause a scene and have benches clear. That's not what I'm saying. But try to get under his skin a little bit.
So I think really since game 1 ended, outside of the fourth quarter of game 4, San Antonio's outplayed Minnesota every quarter of the series.
Yeah.
Like the Spurs to me are the better team. Like Minnesota's wins have been close. San Antonio's wins have been relatively blocked, especially in game 2, obviously.
Yeah. And San Antonio really should have won game 1, to be honest with you. But, you know.
But now they're not. And you know what? Anything can happen. And I believe this to be true about Cavs Pistons, and I believe this to be true about this game. Whoever wins game 5 in both of these series that are tied 2-2 will win both series. Well, and by the way, both of those series may go 7, while the Knicks and the Thunder are sitting at home for 8-9 days resting.
Yeah. I know we're talking about T-Wolves Spurs, but I want to get into this. You have to think about this. Like, both the Knicks and the Thunder swept their respective series, and now they get to just sit back, put their feet up, and watch the Cavs and Pistons duke it out. If you're the Knicks, and if you're the Thunder, you get to watch the Spurs and Timberwolves duke it out. Like, if you're
I think if you're the Knicks, you're probably rooting for Detroit just because they have lots of offensive firepower, and if you're OKC, you're 100% rooting for Minnesota.
Yeah, but again, if you're the Knicks, I think you'd rather play the Cavs because the Pistons proved to be a really bad matchup for the Knicks.
Since when?
Did you not watch the regular season series?
Does the regular season even matter?
Detroit owned New York.
Does it matter?
I think New York wants Cleveland because we don't present the defensive physicality that Detroit does.
No, but do the Knicks have 2 guys on the perimeter that can stop both Mitchell and Harden potentially?
Do we have anybody that can stop Jalen Brunson?
Yeah, we do.
Do you really trust Dean Wade to do that?
He's doing it on Cade Cunningham. I think Cade and Jalen Brunson are very similar players. Listen, I think Cade Cunningham is the 3rd best American player. I think he's better than Jason Tatum. I absolutely do. I think it goes and Cunningham and Brunson in terms of American players right now.
Honestly, after this postseason, you might have a point on that one. You really might. Although I think Jaylen Brown has a very valid argument as well.
All right. Well, you know, some other news. Speaking of Golden State, so Steve Kerr, this one shocked me. He's not going to broadcasting. He's not stepping down. I thought this meant that he got a little inkling that the lottery was going to be rigged and go their way, to be honest with you, because he signed a 2-year extension for a team that's no good.
Yeah, I thought the NBA was going to rig the draft lottery and give Golden State the number 1 pick. No, they didn't. So this news was kind of out of left field, honestly. I didn't think it would happen. But they must see something with the team they have.
The Warriors are your like old aunt, or your old uncle, or your grandparent that's like, my flip phone still works. I'm trying to hang on everything. Like, dude, it's over. Get an iPhone or an Android. It's over, buddy. The flip phone generation, the home phone on the wall, it's over. The Warriors dynasty's over. There's teams that are faster, quicker, smarter, more depth. I'm sorry. I know that Steph Curry wants to be a Warriors' whole career and Draymond wants to be a Warrior their whole career, and they're hanging out of their glory days. But this is like a sitcom who's in their 11th season that should have ended after season 7.
Never thought I'd hear it be put that way. But
is it not? They have overstayed their welcome and I guess this. Remember when they won that championship in 2022? I couldn't remember if it was that year, we were still a Cleveland, or if we just started this show together. But I said, dump everybody. Doing bowls. Doing 98 bowls. They did the last dance in 98 and they moved on. That's what Steve Kerr was part of that team. That's what they should have done.
Yep. And well, we saw that get into that playoff series with Sacramento where it took like a 50-point game from Steph to beat the Kings.
And Steph still has moments. He's still a great player, but he's not as healthy as he used to be. And Jimmy Butler's a show of himself.
And he's very rarely healthy now.
And Draymond, by the way, if it's possible, his points per game have actually gone down.
The dude is going to be a Hall of Famer just for really being carried by Steph.
I mean, how many times have I told you how many times would the Cavs need a player like Draymond Green? Just an enforcer.
Yeah, he doesn't score like ever, but he still helps the team.
It makes me think that Golden State is going to try to run this thing back one more time, and they're going to try Giannis. And I don't know if that means they're going to have to get rid of Jimmy Butler. I don't know what the package is going to be, but I think that's what they're going to try and do.
Yeah, this to me screams Giannis.
Which, by the way, right? If they get Steph and Giannis, what seed are they in the West? Maybe 6. I'm dead serious. Think about it. OKC's obviously not going anywhere. San Antonio's not going anywhere. I still really like Denver's roster for what it's worth. Minnesota's not going anywhere. The Lakers are still going to hang around. Hell, what the hell is going to happen with Houston? We don't know.
And the Clippers.
And I think the Mavs are going to be a lot better basketball team next year.
I wish I could agree with you about that, but I don't know if Kyrie's going to be able to stay healthy.
That is true.
Or Klay Thompson.
I guess my point is the Warriors are in this mix of they could be like, okay.
And for Phoenix could be better next season.
And by the way, Giannis himself has not been healthy the last couple of years.
Yeah. The Warriors are kind of like the old person home. Nursing home. That's what it is.
Back to Giannis real quick. I really think, I know last year we were talking about Houston and San Antonio. I wouldn't do it now if I was the Spurs.
No.
I have too much of a young core. I want to keep it going. Josh, my heart of hearts right now tells me he's going to end up either a Celtic or a Cav.
If the Cavs get him, you're going to have to give up Evan Mobley.
I would do it today. Like if I could do it right now, I would do it.
And you would keep Jared Allen.
Yes. I'm done with Evan Mobley. It's been 5 years, bud.
All right.
Now, to be fair, Giannis was a little bit of a late bloomer too, right? I mean, what did it take him 7 years to get to this level?
Yeah.
But also, Giannis was competing for a little before that. Evan Mobley was viewed as this next generation's Tim Duncan. He's nowhere close.
No,
So,
he's not even close to that.
Speaking of the next generation, AJ DeBanza is reportedly heading to Washington because the Wizards have finally earned the number one pick because the pink balls actually went the way of Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Well, we don't know for sure that it's going to be AJ DeBanza.
Oh, I believe it's going to be AJ DeBanza.
It would make sense for it to be AJ.
I don't see how it can't be. I'm being honest with you.
Because you got Trae Young and you got Anthony Davis.
Who they may even try to move AD.
But do you really trust the Wizards to get this right? Because I don't.
Well, here's a question. I know it's a different sport. The Bengals have been bad for decades. They got Joe Burrow. What happened? They immediately became good.
Yeah.
That's how good I think AJ DeBanza can be. I think he can make the Wizards good.
What's good for the Wizards, though? Like
the 5 seed?
Oh, God.
In a weak East in 2 years? Yeah, I can absolutely see it.
Oh, good.
By the way,
Lord.
If they pick AJ DeBanza, I think they'd be better than your Raptors next year.
Oh, you're calling them my Raptors.
Well, they are your Raptors. You picked the Raptors all the way back to last year.
You might as well call them my Jazz since I stupidly picked them to make the playoffs.
By the way, they got the number 2 pick. Who are they going to go with? Are they going to go with Drew Peterson, who apparently is
Darren Peterson.
Darren Peterson, who's got blood issues.
Yeah. Again, I like what Utah has with Lowry Markkanen, Walter Clayton. You got Ace Bailey.
Yeah.
They have a nice young core. So, but with the Wizards, again, AJ DeBanza makes the most sense. But do I trust them to do the right thing? No.
Move over, Capitals, because basketball is alive once again in Capital One Arena. I'm going to start becoming a Wizards fan.
Oh, good Lord.
This franchise has been, this franchise has been through more hell than the Pirates, the Rockies. They have not had one good season in about 10 years.
The last time I remember the Wizards being relevant was John Wall hitting that, game-winning shot against the Celtics. And
there was what year was it? It was 2014. Didn't they go to 7 games at John Wall and Bradley Beal against the Celtics in the second round?
I want to say that was 2018.
Well, if I'm the Wizards, I'll tell you this, what I do. I change my logo. I change my uniforms. We are a brand new franchise starting today. The days of ghosts showing up at Capital One Arena because they think the Capitals are playing tonight are over.
And who knows if Alex Ovechkin's going to be playing for the Capitals next season.
I told you when we went to the Wizards game, the night of the Capitals game, and I was in Washington, D.C., they didn't even have Wizards branding up. It was still Capitals gear.
It's hilarious. But, I want to be excited about the Wizards getting the number 1 pick, but I'm more interested in what the Utah Jazz are going to do at number 2.
That's fair, but this is how it should be, by the way, the NBA. And Adam Silver, this is why your anti-tanking measure is not going to work. This is why there should not be a lottery. It should just be the worst team in the NBA to get the number 1 pick because you should give teams that don't have any hope some hope.
Yep. For God's sakes, the Toronto Maple Leafs won the NHL draft lottery, and they weren't the worst team in the league.
Yeah, but in hockey, from what I understand, it's anybody's ball game once you get into the playoffs. Very similar to baseball. It's not that way in the NBA.
Yeah.
All right, well, speaking of young guys, should we talk about something I don't want to talk about because I can't believe it's happening? Because greed has happened once again in college sports. Because March Madness is now going to be up to 78 teams. And the only question I have is, when is it going to be 90? When is it going to be 120? Let's let all Division I schools in the tournament.
Yeah, because, you don't have to earn your way into March Madness anymore. Let's make the regular season even less relevant. Why? I mean, I
So
get
that
it.
these random ass schools can get the money for saying that they made the play-in tournament, which my understanding is, and this is one thing I do like about it, we're still going to get down to 64 by Thursday at noon.
Yeah.
Because
But
that was my worry. If we started Thursday with like 72, I would have been outraged.
oh, I know. Because you would have had like a 1 against an 18 seed or a 17 seed.
And now, and I could be wrong on this, but I thought I read that like all your typical 12 matchups are now going to be playing tournament games.
I think all the 12s, a lot of the 12 seeds are going to be decided by the play-in.
Yep.
That's typically how they do it with the 11 seeds. So,
and listen, college football is going to do the same thing. It's going to expand to 24 teams pretty soon. And I get it. More games is more TV revenue, it's more money. It doesn't mean we get a better product.
No, it usually waters down the product, honestly.
Actually, if you look at March Madness the last 2 years, and we talked about this, and maybe not with you, because I think you were on vacation in Germany when the tournament was going down this year. But this historically, I think, was like the most games in the first round. We had 20-point blowouts, even though we had some good moments.
Yeah, like the tournament this year didn't feel like it had that one signature moment until we got that Duke UConn game.
Well, I would say Iowa defeat Florida was pretty significant.
Okay, sure, but I'm talking
High
about
Point defeating Wisconsin was a big upset.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like that one moment you're going to talk about from this tournament. I would say, like, typically we get that, in the early rounds. We've gotten that in the past.
Well, you do because it's a Cinderella story. We don't really get Cinderella stories anymore, but what it's done is it's made the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 matchups, I would argue, better.
You mean by expanding?
No, by NIL taking out the Cinderella, we've had the top be better later in the tournament.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Granted, you don't get stories like what happened with St. Peter's where they went on their crazy run a few.
But honestly, who cares besides St. Peter's people? Do we really care about St. Peter's? No, we don't. I care about Michigan. I care about UConn. I care about North Carolina. I care about Duke. I care about Kansas. I care about Blue Bloods.
And Kentucky.
And Kentucky.
Michigan State.
And Villanova in their heyday, Michigan, etc. That's my point. And so now my fear is these Tuesday, Wednesday games on paper, they're probably going to be good games, but these teams are not going to win the tournament.
No. I mean, they could create interesting matchups in the first round for like the 12-5 games, but that's about it.
I will say I am happy they did it for both the men and the women because it would have been awkward if they did it for one and not the other.
True.
But so what is it? It's 10 teams, so we've added a total of 5 games.
Yeah. And like you said, thank God they didn't do it. It's still gonna be 64. Like I was worried they were gonna do a 1 seed against a 17 seed or an 18 seed.
Well, that's my question is how long is this expansion gonna last? How long until we get to 86 or 90 or 120?
I'm honestly surprised that we've only seen this type of expansion in college sports. We haven't seen this type of expansion with the NBA playoffs or the Stanley Cup playoffs or NFL playoffs, MLB playoffs.
I would argue, I would argue a little bit on that because the MLB playoffs have significantly expanded over the last couple of years.
But that was more in response to COVID and having to change.
But they've kept it. And the NBA has now extended it with the play-in tournament.
Yeah, but
we have seen expansion. And listen, in the NBA now, if you want to be technical, each conference has 15 spots. Technically, 10 teams make the playoffs from each conference.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But the play-in tournament doesn't really count.
Well, it counts towards the lottery now, so the NBA is counting it.
Yeah, but the play-in teams were still in the lottery.
Not if you win the play-in tournament.
True. But like Charlotte was still in the play-in tournament. Miami was still in it.
Yeah, and again, what's the point? You want to lose. You don't want to win those play-in tournament. The only team that had a significant run of the play-in tournament was Miami. Which the more and more you look at it, more it looks like the luckiest playoff run in the history of the NBA.
Honestly, that 2023 playoff run, 2023 playoffs as a whole feels more and more like it was just fluky all around.
Speaking of schedules, Josh, I know we're both very excited about this because the NFL schedule is starting to leak out.
Yes, the official schedule will be released Thursday night, May 14th at around 8 p.m. or so, but we've already got some games that have been confirmed. For example, your Philadelphia Eagles will take on the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas on Thanksgiving. The Cincinnati Bengals will take on the Atlanta Falcons in Madrid. The Denver Broncos will take on the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football, though we don't know the location of that game.
Yes, we do. It has been announced.
It has? Where is
it? It has been announced as of an hour ago.
Okay.
It will take place in the home of the Chiefs in Kansas City, Missouri.
They must think Mahomes is going to be back for that game.
That's exactly my thought, which I think it's a risk by the NFL. I would have gave the Chiefs the Jets week 1 at home. I just would have.
Yeah. Excuse me. But and we know that the Bills are going to be hosting the Lions on Thursday Night Football to open their new stadium, which I personally don't like that. I like the game against the Lions. That's not the part I have an issue with. It's the Thursday Night Football part that I have an issue with. I would put that game on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football.
What's the issue with Thursday?
Shortened week. You don't get a full week of practice. Less time to build up the pomp and circumstance of the new stadium.
Well, listen, I mean, when Amazon Prime first came out, do you remember the first ever Thursday night game on Prime?
No.
Chargers at Chiefs.
Oh.
So the NFL is trying to give everybody equal parts and equal basket. And I think again, I'm not the biggest fan of Thursday night football either. We get the majority of watch, but first weeks of the season, you got teams that are roughly fresh. I don't mind it.
It depends on where you have the Bills and Lions play in week 1 for me. Like, if you have...
I would guess Buffalo's on the road, obviously. Maybe it's a divisional game. Maybe it's the Jets.
Like, if you have the Bills play at the Raiders, for example, in week 1, and then turn around and play Thursday Night Football at home, I would hate that.
That's fair.
So, that's also part of the reason why I hate that. Because, theoretically, what if you have the Bills play the Chargers in LA to start the season?
No, that's fair.
But my prediction is that the Browns are going to start the season on the road in the Music City against the Tennessee Titans.
I've seen a lot of people predicting that.
Yeah. So, if I get that right, I'm going to give myself a nice pat on the back.
Do you want a little bit of schedule breaking news? Because this one just came down about 5 minutes ago.
Go.
The first NFL game in France, in Paris.
Let's see if I got this one right. Browns Saints.
Is going to take place in week 7.
Okay.
The New Orleans Saints are going to be the home team.
Yep.
Their opponents
The Cleveland Browns
will be the soon-to-be quarterbacked by Aaron Rodgers' Pittsburgh Steelers.
Damn it, I got that one wrong already because I said in my schedule prediction that the Browns would take on the Saints in in Paris in week 7.
You know what's great about the NFL? The Eagles-Cowboys are going to be playing on Thanksgiving. First time since 2014, where Mark Sanchez and the Philadelphia Eagles walloped the Dallas Cowboys led by a big day by Shady with Sean McCoy. It's 6 months out. I'm geeked for it already.
Oh my God. You are right. Saints Steelers in Paris. Damn.
Yeah.
Not what I was expecting. I really thought all the rumors said it was going to be Browns Saints.
Yeah. Well, rumors aren't obviously official.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be home when the schedule comes out because I will be working game 1 of the North Division Finals between the Toronto Marlies and the Cleveland Monsters at Rocket Arena. So I'll have to check out the official Browns schedule later. But I'm working on my prediction series. I just put out part 2 where I went through weeks 5 through 10. I already got week 7 wrong, so what the hell? But yeah.
How many primetime games do you think that they're going to get? And who would you schedule?
Right now, I only have one primetime game for them.
Can I guess which game it is?
Yes.
Atlanta.
Yes.
Where do you have what?
Week 2, Sunday Night Football, Browns home opener.
I don't think they're going to do it Sunday night. I would guess that's a Thursday game.
I have a Sunday Night Football game. Kevin Stefanski returns to Cleveland.
I think that could be, to be honest with you, I think that could be week 1. Well, it can't be week 1 if it's going to be a prime time. But if they're going to do prime time, I thought it was going to be week 2 Thursday night, but maybe it's week 2 Monday night.
Could be.
I don't see it as Sunday night. I just don't. Because I don't think Atlanta has the quarterback that you can put on Sunday night, and neither do the Browns.
But why would you put that game on Monday night then?
There is something to Sunday Night Football is the primetime game, right? Like Thursday night and Monday night, I see is interchangeable. I see Sunday night as the game.
Yeah. Because you usually see like prime games get flexed into Sunday Night Football, so I'll give that to you.
And they always say primetime #1 show. It's the most watched broadcast out of any game, standalone game.
I'm going to be really interested to see where they put Packers Bears. Do they put those 2 games midway through the season, late in the season? When do those games happen?
I'll tell you what, the NFL has got themselves a dandy with this schedule because there's a lot of teams that I want to see in prime time this year.
Yeah.
I was thinking in my head about which teams I absolutely do not want to see at all on prime time, and I couldn't come up with a lot of them. Because, like, even the Jets, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't mind the Jets one primetime game because I want to see Omar Cooper. I want to see Arvell Reese.
Oh, Arvell Reese is with the Giants.
Or, excuse me, David Bailey.
Yeah. I kind of want to see the Cardinals in prime time, honestly.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent. I wouldn't mind it. Now, these are teams that are going early. You want to see, I wouldn't put them on late in the year.
No. But I want to see Jeremiah Love. I want to see Marvin Harrison and
even Tennessee. If you want to give me like a Tennessee-Jacksonville Thursday night game.
I actually, like I said, I think Tennessee's going to be better than you think. I know their defense isn't great, but they're one of those
They
teams.
could be. I mean, I just think the AFC South has gotten so much better. I think that Texans defense is unreal. I think Jacksonville's for real, and we'll see what the Colts are when Daniel Jones comes back.
Yeah.
The Colts, by the way, are one of those teams that if they don't have Daniel Jones, I don't want to see them out at all. I don't know what they are.
I would agree with you.
And I hate to tell you this, but outside of a Falcons game and maybe even a game against Baker Mayfield in Tampa, I don't think the Browns deserve a primetime game. They don't have a quarterback.
No, we really don't. I might be heading down to Tampa Bay for that Browns-Buccaneers game, depending on when it is. So hopefully it's not Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, anything like that, because I want to be able to go to that game.
The other team I don't want to see at all, by the way, in any primetime game scenario whatsoever is Miami, because I think they're going to absolutely sink this year.
Yeah. I would agree with you on that.
Here's a question. I have a question for you I just thought of. Where do you put Fernando Mendoza and the Las Vegas Raiders? How do you start them out? Because do you think Mendoza is going to start week 1? And where would you schedule a primetime game for them?
I don't think Mendoza is going to start for them week 1.
I agree. So I would put a lower tier game for them week 1.
Yeah. I have the Browns hosting them week 5.
Josh, there's something in the back of my head that tells me I think there's a scenario Mendoza doesn't play this year.
Man, and they ride Kirk Cousins the entire way?
I think you ride Kirk. If he's playing okay, maybe you don't win a lot of games. You get a high draft pick, but something's telling me that Brady is going to instill in that organization to let the kids sit.
Interesting. Okay, what about the Washington Commanders? How do you go?
That's an interesting one because Jaden Daniels is coming back. Like, I think them and anybody in the NFC East, because I think the NFC East may be the most fascinating division in football this year. And I'm not just saying that because my team's in it, because it's up for grabs. Because I really believe any of the 4 teams could win it. So any of those teams I would put in primetime, but I think I would put them on an early primetime game because I want to make sure that Jaden Daniels is on primetime before he gets hurt.
We already know that it's going to be Cowboys-Giants on Sunday Night Football to open the season.
Which is a matchup that I typically don't want, but I'm very fascinated to watch John Harbaugh on his Giants debut. So I get it. Even though we see it, it feels like almost every other year.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it week 1 on Sunday Night Football. It's not the most intriguing game to me.
Well, it's Harbaugh's debut. I mean, I'm fascinated by it because I think the Giants could be one of the most improved teams in football. They scare me to death.
Well, it's hard because we don't know if Malik Neighbors is going to be healthy. We don't know if Cam Scott.
Oh, no, I believe Malik and Cam will be healthy. I mean, they were out since early in the year. It wasn't like their injuries happened later in the year, like Mahomes.
Yeah, but, the type of injuries they had, that's a lengthy recovery. Who knows if they're going to be ready for the start of the season?
It's mostly a 9-month recovery. So if they got their, done in October, they'll be ready by the start of the year, I would believe.
I'm not so sure. But I'm also interested in the Saints schedule, honestly, because New Orleans came on strong late in the year. What's their schedule going to look like in terms of how many primetime games they get? Do the schedule makers really believe in Tyler Shuck and what the Saints did late in the season?
What was the first thing I told you post Super Bowl that I was flirting with?
Becoming a Saints fan?
No, the Saints were going to win the NFC South.
You did say that.
And so, listen, I really like what I saw to Tyler Shuck. I think year 2, if they take a right side with Kellen Moore, I love the addition of Travis Etienne out of the backfield. And so, we'll see. The NFC South is a division that it may only get a 9-game winner, but I don't feel like any of those teams are bottom feeders anymore.
Yeah. I'm also curious with Carolina, what their schedule is going to look like.
They got a first place schedule too. Have you seen their schedule? It's pretty difficult.
Yeah, they got Seattle. I forget which division the NFC South is playing this year.
They are playing. Well, I know the NFC East plays the NFC West, so they will play the NFC North.
Oh boy, so that means they got to play the Packers, the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions.
I'll say this too. Speaking of the Vikings, put them on early in the year like they did last year, week 2 or week 3 prime time.
Yeah,
Because I like them and the Browns are the two most fascinating preseason teams because they have the 2 quarterback battles.
yeah.
Reportedly, that is 50-50. I don't believe that. I think unless something travesty happens, I think Kyler Murray is going to be their week 1 starter.
I would agree.
Now, by the way, that doesn't mean they should move off JJ McCarthy. I will say that as well.
Well, if you go to Kyler as your starter, it feels like you're pulling the plug on JJ.
But JJ can be a good backup, and Kyler's always had injury history.
That's true.
And what have we seen the last few years in the NFL, Josh? We've seen Baker Mayfield, resurgence. Sam Darnold, resurgence. Some would argue Mac Jones, resurgence. Geno Smith, even to an extent, a resurgence. I'm not giving up on J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, but part of the reason those quarterbacks had resurgences is because they were in the right system.
You don't think Minnesota is the right system?
It all depends.
By the way, to be fair to J.J. McCarthy, he's never been healthy. I think that's his problem.
True. And I liked what we saw out of him in week 1 against Chicago last year.
Well, wait. Well, let me come back to the system question real quick. So you don't think Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hockenson, those weapons, it's not the right system?
I didn't say that. All I said was when we saw the resurgence of Baker Mayfield, it's because he was put in a good system down in Tampa Bay.
Minnesota runs the same system.
I'm not saying J.J. McCarthy can't have a resurgence. I never said that.
Well, I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say because it sounds like you're saying, yeah, but J.J. doesn't have this.
J.J. needs to show me that he can function in that system.
That's the right answer because you were implying the system is wrong.
No. That's not what I was trying to get at. So I apologize if that's the way it came across. But I'm not ready to say he can work in that system.
Well, that's what it sounded like that was coming out of you. I'll tell you, and I know this is a little bit off topic too, but you know another guy who I in my heart of hearts believe could be a franchise quarterback in the NFL.
Who?
His initials go by AR. He was the number 4 pick in the 2021 NFL draft. Anthony Richardson.
He wasn't 4th overall in the 2021 draft.
I believe he was, or no, was it 23? Did I get that wrong?
He was in the draft class, I believe, with.
He was in the draft class with Bryce Young, right? So it would have been 23.
I thought he was in the draft class with Drake May.
No, that was 24. That was Caleb, Bo Nix, Drake, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix.
Okay.
Right? Caleb, Jaden, Drake were the first 3. Then it went Penix, McCarthy, Bo. That was the 6.
Okay. I'm trying to remember them when Anthony Richardson was drafted.
I believe Trey Lance was the one in 2021. That's where I got mixed up. I was right on it. Yep. Anthony Richardson was drafted number 20 in the 2023 draft, number 4 overall.
Yes.
By the way, Josh, guess how old he is?
I'm trying to remember. Like 26 or something.
He's only 23 years old.
Oh boy, and the Colts already moved on from him.
He was born in 2002.
Oh, wow. Good Lord.
Josh, I'm telling you, there's something in there about that kid.
Well, Shane Steichen couldn't figure it out in Indy.
I know this is off topic, but I'm telling he could be the next quarterback for Surgeon.
I wonder if he could work in Philly.
As a backup for Jalen Hurts, hey, we took a shot on Andy Dalton. We drafted another kid. I still really like Tanner McKee, for the record.
I mean, it seems like the Eagles are like completely reshaping their offense. So why not?
I am so excited. Did you see those reports of Sean Mannion and Jalen Hurts hitting it off, getting under center, touching the center's butt, and taking the snap? Oh, here we go.
Welcome to football season.
We are back, man. Philadelphia, we are coming for them Cowboys on Thanksgiving. You better start carving your turkey up now.
Oh, good Lord.
Hey, Eagles Cowboys Thanksgiving. It doesn't get any better in my family unless, of course, we lose. And it would be an absolute disaster of a day.
The only thing that would be better is Ravens Steelers to cap it off.
And with that, I think that'll conclude tonight's show. We talked all things NBA Plus. We talked about the lottery. We talked about March Madness expansion. We talked about the end of our schedule coming out. I am Brandon Lewis. The host of Brandon. That is Ungar to the Max, the host of the Sports Room Talk Show, Josh Ungar. This has been episode 122, Championship Rings. Josh, you got anything else to add before we get out of here for the night?
I do not.
And with that, we'll see you next week on a new edition of Championship Rings.
Bye-bye.